harvesting our beef, and I did some kind of behind the scenes. I did it on my subscriber channel because I can't do it publicly without getting in Instagram trouble. But it was really interesting. I love hearing people's feedback, and I put a question box up to answer questions about the process. So I'm gonna answer those now, and I can do that publicly. So here they are. We have a two-man team. It's actually a father-son team, Luke and Crawford. They are really talented and work really well together. Luke's been doing this his entire life, and his son is kind of his assistant. Plus, we have the USDA person there, but they do not help at all. They're just there for inspection. It takes about an hour with 2 men, so 2 man-hours to do 1 steer, maybe a little less if things are moving really smoothly and they're all our steers. It could take a little longer if they're custom beef we're doing for another farmer ranch. There's a little bit more paperwork involved. If the steer's over 30 months, they have special protocol that they have to remove the backbone. Ours are not over 30 months, but sometimes other ranches do. So there's a few variables, but about an hour. So we have the animal handling pen that's all Brian worked with Temple Grandin design for humane animal handling, very low stress. They walk right into a squeeze that calms them down and their neck is restrained. And then Luke uses a captive bolt stunner that basically puts a bolt in and out of the skull, and that renders them incapacitated. They go down immediately. There is no noise. It is actually very peaceful, very somber, and then they are immediately hoisted up and then let out. The animal literally never knows what hits them. Nobody else is watching. Other animals don't see it when it happens. It's as peaceful and it's peaceful as can be, and the right way to do it. I kind of just answered this, but no, they do not see it happening. The steers or heifers or whatever we're harvesting are in the animal handling waiting area. They have high walls. It's designed so that they're very calm in there, and they don't see the people moving around. They don't see a harvest. They do not know what's happening. The other steers that are in the pens are too far away to see it, and it's not loud either. It's very peaceful. I agree. This is pretty remarkable. There is not a lot of blood. We have a special drain built into the cement pad under where they're hanging that collects all the blood, and we collect that in a holding tank, but it is not a lot of blood. Lots of this question. I wish there was a market for hides, but there just really isn't. You have to be doing crazy volume to have enough hides to even get very small amount of money for your hides, because they're going to start rotting pretty immediately. They have blood, they have natural matter on them, so they have to be skinned and salted and saved to transfer to whoever is going to process them next. So when we're only doing 5 or 6 a day, 12 to 15 max a week, it's not enough hides for anybody to come get every week, and it would be so labor intensive for us to salt these huge hides and save them. It's very expensive to do it yourself. Even if we just wanted to do one, it's $1,500 to do a hide, and because so much is done overseas where they use heavy chemicals, there's just not a market for them in the US right now on a small scale. Yes, we use the tallow. We sell the tallow. We sell beef tongue. We sell liver, heart. We also work those into our ancestral blend. We sell beef cheeks. We sell oxtail. So we use as much of it as we possibly can, and there is a market for that, and our customers love that. We love customers who appreciate cooking with the more unusual cuts. It helps us sell the whole animal and make sure that those parts will get used. Somebody also asked why the feet are cut off. There's no meat. There's meat in the shanks, which is more in the thigh, but down at the ankles and the hooves, that's a very high likelihood for fecal matter, bacteria, E. coli. So because you can't really skin them, so they just get removed before the carcass is hung. Skinning is interesting. It does look easy when someone very good is doing it, and Luke is very good. So he's pretty quick, and it looks easy when he's doing it. The hardest part is the starting and getting going and making sure that it's clean. They have to sanitize their knife in between every time that it touches the outside of the hide. So the first cuts are more difficult, and then once they start peeling it back, It's sanitary inside, and so they don't need to. But in my experience from skinning deer and sheep, if you kind of get the rhythm and you're using the right pressure, it is easier than you would think to pull that hide. There's machines that will do it too, but we prefer to do it by hand. Also a very interesting question. So the guts, the hides, the heads, the feet, there's 49 states in the US that allow you to find creative uses for those, like fertilizer, land application. There's one state that doesn't, and that is California. So we have to take that matter to a special dump up in Oregon, about an hour and 20 minutes away, every week. It's expensive. It's not easy. We wish there were a better way. We're hoping there will be at some point. We've looked into things like a digester. It just doesn't make financial sense. So we have to drive it to the dump every week. Yes, in order to sell the meat, it has to be killed under USDA inspection, which means a USDA trained representative is there to watch every step. They watch the animal handling before they go in. They check our brand. We have to have the brand inspector come out and inspect them and make sure that we own these cattle and that we can harvest them. The USDA inspector watches the harvest, the kill. They watch the whole process. They inspect the insides. They look at the brain, the liver. They look for liver flukes. They check for E. coli. They don't check in person, but they make sure there's no fecal matter that could lead to that. Sometimes we do send swabs into a lab to make sure that we're never getting positive E. coli samples. It is very, very involved, but the USDA does pay for that person to be up there. And during normal business hours, we have to pay them if it's overtime, but during normal business hours, we give them our schedule for when we're going to kill, and they have to send a rep up. Honestly, no, I really respect it. I'm really proud of the fact that we are doing this here. It couldn't be done better to serve these animals that will then serve us. And it's all part of the cycle of life. We're proud to be raising meat. We're proud to be harvesting it the right way and getting it to our customers. It's still it's somber. You don't take it lightly. But for me, it's more of a feeling of pride and respect than it is being hard or sad, if that makes sense. Okay, this is such a good question. I wish it were easier. It is so hard. Regulatory issues, permitting, different states have different rules, what you do with this, what you do with that, how you do this, part needs to be mobile, part needs to be fixed, because one's for USDA, one's for... It's so much work. And Brian continues to manage the work, the USDA, the paperwork, everything is hard. We are treated just like big plants, same rules. We're killing 5 a day, big plants that are killing 5,000, same rules. We're hoping that changes so that there are different rules for small operations, for farms and ranches, so more people can do this, because it's the hardest thing we've ever done.